Hey, Wendell, you there?
Yes.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, you are over there at Georgetown Butcher. I've heard so much about you. Great owner of a meat shop. Explain how do you explain what Georgetown Butcher is? Because I don't want to just say it's a place where you can buy meat, but how do you describe it?
So Georgetown Butcher is a butcher shop. I recently started this company March 9th, 2020. And we sell produce. And what we do is we specialize in the product. Some of the products, uh, stuff that we import in, stuff that we work with local farmers, and it's a hands-on experience when you go inside a butcher shop, when you come inside Georgetown Butcher.
I think back when I was a kid and my father, we would actually go to the grocery store, and he never bought the meat that was in the meat counter. He always had the butcher to cut his meat for him. And I thought that was always so exciting to see because you say, I want this, and he would tell me the inches or tell him, the size he wanted. And so that's what Georgetown Butcher offers. It's sort of like custom meat for serving, your customers. Custom meat. Is that correct? What makes it different than going to the regular grocery store and come to Georgetown Butcher?
So just like you explained, we cut everything fresh to order. We cut it on a customer or client arrival to the butcher, and they can request how they want it, what inch, how lean they want it, how fresh they want it. Do they want it to come in the same day? Do they, do they want it 8 ounces, 16 ounces? Do they want it portion out? So the product that we sell, it's a bit expensive. So when we sell the product, you don't want to oversell the customer or the client the product because you don't want them wasting over the food. You want them to be able to have the money so they come back and visit you in the future.
You have gotten a lot of great publicity about what you're doing there and the service that you provide. And I even heard, some kinds of meats that I've never even heard of before. I mean, of course, we know the steaks and the lamb and the chicken and the fish and whatever. But what are some of the other meats that you make available to your customers?
So I just had a request. A gentleman called me yesterday. It was the first time I ever had a conversation with him. And he called, he was looking for bone-in filet mignon. And that filet mignon, the reason why he asked for bone-in filet mignon is it's a special cut. I don't know where else you can find it at, but it have a bone inside the filet mignon. Some of the top steakhouses in DC or in Maryland or Virginia, they probably have them on that menu, but you won't be able to walk into a grocery store and find that actual cut. And I also I sell Japanese A5. It's imported Japanese beef. It's Wagyu, and it's imported from Japan. It's a real fatty piece of meat, and what it does when you eat it, some researchers say it lower your cholesterol.
Oh, I need that.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
so
Wow.
like it's not. Yeah, it's such a fatty piece of meat. You can only probably eat like 2 to 3 ounces or 4 ounces. Other than that, you get saturated with the amount of fat
That I
that's
got you.
inside the meat. Yes.
Yeah. Wendell, we're going to take a brief break. We're having some little technical difficulties. Your screen keeps freezing. So we're going to, because I want to talk to you some more. So we're going to kind of go to our next guest and come back and see if we can fix that. And, we were just talking about that Japanese beef that you import. It's amazing. And also, so I just want to kind of catch up now on, as I mentioned before, that we've got holiday season coming up. Well, actually, before I go to that, let me ask you this. You said you opened in 2020, right? Last year, in the midst of a pandemic. Where'd you get the guts to do that? Why?
So when I was transitioning out of my other company that I was working with, I picked the first week of March to open up. And the first week of March, I did a soft opener the week before. Just had the store open. But then my grand opener was March the 9th, 2020. And then I heard about the pandemic. I was hearing about COVID-19. I was hearing about this virus that was going around. And I don't want to say this, but I didn't really pay no attention. I just had to get ready to open up and start my first company. So that was my focus. And so when I opened up the store March the 19th, within a couple of days, the mayor of DC, she declared a state of emergency to shut down the whole city. And then the whole world shut down.
Yeah.
And then, I was able to keep the store open because it was an essential store. And I was able to provide product for the community and was able to help my clientele base in Virginia with product also. So, it was just, abide by the the mandates, keep your mask on, keep 6 feet apart, social distance. And we follow all of those guidelines at Georgetown Butcher. And it was a ton of stuff happening in Georgetown. It was a ton of stuff happening around the world. So we was just standing together, me and my team of people, my partners, my financial team, my accountant, my CFO, we just all stayed together. It was a struggle. It was a fight, it was just a way of just keep coming together.
And then you also had to face, because of the George Floyd uh, case, the killing out there in Minneapolis by the police officer. But there were demonstrations that spilled over into Georgetown as well. Were you affected by that at all?
At that point, when they stopped protesting in Georgetown, everybody boarded up their stores. And people kept calling me. They kept asking, was I was gonna board up? Was you gonna board up your store? I was just like, I just opened. If I boarded up, people probably think the store don't exist. So I couldn't board up the store. And and then the street, Grace Street, is not like on the main street. So it's off the beaten path. And I believe the protesters, they walked past the street. They was going towards the bigger stores in Georgetown. So we got lucky.
That's fantastic. What is your address there?
It's 3210 Grace Street, Northwest.
Wonderful. 3210 Grace Street. So what is, is there anything you want to share with us about what you're all offering, or what we need to plan for as far as these holidays that are coming up now that we're back out and people are grilling, and what does Georgetown Butcher offer?
We just provide the best service that we can provide. We put out the best product that's on the market. A lot of the product that we sell, you don't need to over season it. You don't need to marinate it for 3 or 4 days. You can put salt, pepper, and olive oil on it, and you can have the natural flavors of the food that we sell.
Wonderful. Lastly, I just want to ask, just like I asked the doctor, Wendell, I want to ask you as well. How did you get into this?
So I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, and like what I, like it been a journey. It been like a lifetime commitment to keep following my dreams and to being a business owner. And so I grew up in DC, inner city kid. Like I grew up in DC, just like a lot of the kids out here right now. I'm from Washington D.C. I grew up 13th and U. I grew up in the heart of DC. I grew up in the 80s, the 90s when, like DC was, like it's DC was, like it was just a lot going on.
Oh
That's
yeah.
all I say. Like it's a lot going on. Like I love my city. I love the people that I grew up around. And, like I just looked at it like, like I wanted to be successful. Like I wanted to do something that, like that I could stick out. Like I always wanted to be somebody. And so what I did was I went out, I was working at CVS Pharmacy in DC, downtown DC. Then I got a much better job working at Sutton Place, Balducci's in McLean. Then I started working for Organic Butcher in McLean. It was a butcher shop. And so I started at 2005. And once I started working there, I got in my mindset that I wanted to open up my own butcher shop. Like I became passionate about what I was
Mhm.
doing. And I just always wanted to do it. And
Wow.
so, and I, like it's all these opportunities kept coming, like I wasn't ready at times, but I never gave up. Like it was just like stay ready and be ready. So when the opportunity come, you be ready this time. Like I tried to open up this, I tried to open up or start a company like the last 5 years and I couldn't do it.
Hmm.
But I was able to do it this time. And so it became, like it became something that, like part of my journey. It became a lot of hard work, but it paid off. And I was happy to see that I started the company. So once COVID hit, I was just like, I gotta keep going. Like I don't want to sound selfish and be like, like I wasn't worried or caring about anything else. I had to care about myself, my company, my employees, and the people that was around.
Well, it's interesting because the timing really could not have been better because so many people were home cooking. We couldn't go out to restaurants, we couldn't go to the movies, we couldn't. So everybody was in their kitchens cooking. And what made that really more exciting is to have that special cut of meat, from Georgetown Butcher. So the stars aligned for you, and I think that's great. And so I don't know. We had to stop and start. But is there anything else you want to share with us about your experience before we go?
I think I said a lot. I heard a lot of positive information that I didn't know about. So I'm more than blessed to be a part of this show and to talk to and talk to the community about what I do and just about hearing other people talk also.
I want to just ask you in closing, though, because right now, with COVID and people, a lot of companies are looking for employees. They're looking for workers right now, and they're having a difficult time finding them. And then we have a lot of young people, because of situations regarding school. And the word now is, maybe college education is not necessary. But what kind of words of inspiration would you give to somebody who, like yourself, grew up at 13th and U or over here in Southeast or Northeast or wherever? What words would you give them to keep them as motivated as you have been?
So my thing is, I would tell everybody that live in a single parent home, listen to your mother, and she will guide you in the direction where you need to go. Like it's a lot of single parent moms in DC. I grew up in a single parent home, and what my mom told me was keep going forward. Stay away from whatever you need to stay away from. You know, like I was a kid growing up in the city. I always didn't listen to her, but I did listen to her, and she made a lot of sense. And she just like stay away from what you need to stay away from, and you know, like just keep going forward. You'll get there, and you're like, and that's the thing about the kids now. Like that's the message. Keep going forward. You will get there. You need to cut a friend back here and there. You need to cut, you know, like you need to cut some stuff off in order for you to take the next step. You need to go talk to a person that you don't know so you can gain information, knowledge from. It might not be in a school. It might be at a church. It might be at a you know, I spent a lot of time at Martha's Table. It was a community center right down 14th Street. I spent a lot of time there. And, you know, like I talked to a lot of people when I was young. And, you know, like that's what the younger generation need to do is talk to people, you know, gain all the knowledge, get all the information because it's out here. Just like the people on the panel said before, it's a lot of resources out here that we don't know about. I never know about it, you know, like, so, you know, like I'm glad that, you know, like I got to the point where I'm at right now by just listening and paying attention.
Wonderful. Shevry just told me that you lost your mom last year, but still, you know, I guess her strength kept you going, and so God bless you, and you'll see me.
Okay,
All
thank
righty.
you. And
Okie
tell
doke.
your son I said hi, and you know, like without him, I wouldn't be on the show right now. So
All right. No. Yeah, I will let him know that. I will definitely let him know that. Wendell, good luck to you. And we asking all of our viewers to go over to Georgetown Butcher and check him out and tell him you saw him on Win TV. All right.
okay, thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much. Thank you.